Hey guys, Kurt Hughes here. Leaning back is one of the most important things that you can do in your swing, but a lot of people seem to have questions about why that is, so I want to take a minute to explain that. So first off, it's a lot of it is about where you're trying to hit the ball. So if I land right and I'm leaning myself forward like this, when I make my swing, my bat's gonna go down like that. Now I know there's a lot of coaches that want you to do that. I'm not one of them. If that's something that you have questions about, I have a lot of past videos talking about that. But basically, if you want to be in the way of the ball for a long period of time, you want to swing slightly up. So when we're doing our swing, if we're leaning forward, we're going to swing down. And also, if we swing down, it's going to restrict our ability to actually consistently hit the ball over the infield. So if I'm going to swing up, I need to lean my body back a little bit like this because my swing is going to be perpendicular to my spine angle. So wherever my body is leaning, when I swing, my bat is going to be about perpendicular to that plane. So that's why it's important to swing up. There's a couple other reasons though, because there's a lot of people that also teach swing up but don't necessarily teach the lean back component. So it's really important to understand what's actually going on there. So when we're doing our swing, it's super important to keep our head still. Now, when I say keep our head still, I don't mean in the lift phase. In the stride phase, your head can move. Most hitters move their head during those phases. It's totally okay to do that. But it's not okay when your turn's going to move your head. You can see mine stayed pretty still right there. It's not okay to move your head when you're actually turning. So my front leg, I wrote an article about this, by the way, if you're more interested in it. It's called Head Movement in the Swing. You can find it on my website. I might even just put a link in the description. But anyways, so my front leg in my swing, it works like a brace. And what that does is it keeps my head still. If you ever use like a tripod for like a camera, essentially the way that tripod works, right, is it stabilizes the camera so the camera stays in the same spot. If one of those legs kind of like slide all over the place, it would make the head move. So take a look what would happen if I get my leg here and I stand up and don't lean my body back. Watch my head. You can see that my head kind of popped up and slid a little bit forward. Leaning back allows you to use that angle of your front leg and keep your head still during your swing. If anything, if your head's gonna move at all, we want it to move back just a tick. We don't really want it to come forward at all because we're essentially speeding the ball up when we do that. And when I say that, I mean like the ball's coming this way, your vision of the ball is going this way, which makes the ball seem faster, even though it's not going faster, making it more difficult on us to swing. So we either want to keep it super still or we want to move it back a little bit. So now the question is, how as a hitter do we make sure that we're leaning back the way that we need to? So the thing that's really, really tough is that it's hard to feel what our head is doing because it's not attached to anything. Obviously our point of reference with our head is our eyes, right? So what we, where our head is and how our head is moving, our eyes are kind of the ones that perceive that, but things are happening so fast and your eyes are focused on so much. When your swing is happening, it's hard to say, okay, yeah, I kept my head still that time. So what's a way that hitters can know that they're keeping their head still for sure? So when I first started teaching lessons like 3 years ago, this was a big problem of mine. I didn't really know how to get people to keep their heads still. And what I would do is I didn't really care where they finished. I wanted them to start with their hips first, which is still something that I teach. And I didn't really care where they finished. As long as they started with their hips first, and they really didn't matter to me. And what I noticed is that my guys just weren't accurate. And when I put them on video, I realized that their head was moving. So how do I get them to keep their head still every time was a challenge for me. So what I decided to do, and I kind of, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if Baseball Rebellion does this for the same reason that I do. I'm thinking they probably do, but I kind of saw a couple of their guys do it, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I could use that. So basically, Rebellion, a lot of their guys and girls, when they finish their swing, they bring their bat all the way to the ground like this, okay? And what I thought is that if you can reach the ground with your bat, if I'm standing up like this, right, and I reach back with the bat, I can't really reach the ground. You can see my bat just doesn't touch right there. But if I'm leaning back more on my back leg, I can reach the ground with my bat. So that finish, if I force my hitters and force myself to get to that finish early on, I know that my hitters are leaning back far enough to be able to not move their head. So if if head movement is something that you're struggling with, or even if you don't know if head movement is something you're struggling with, if you are able to finish with your bat on the ground, you're going to be able to lock that head into place. So I'll just show you a demo of that. So if I finish with my bat on the ground like that, I know that that head didn't move forward. Now if I slide forward, I can't get my bat to the ground, so I know I did it wrong. So it's an easy yes or no thing. Anytime when you're training the swing, you want to create drills and you want to create targeted batting practice where whatever it is that you're working on is very binary, meaning yes, I did this, or no, I did not do this. Make it very, very simple so the hitter can understand what's going on, and so you as the instructor can understand what's going on, or if you're a parent watching this, so you as a parent know what's going on. If you can make it very binary, it makes everything a lot easier, and that's why the finish on the ground cue works so well.